We are on the record at 11:01 a.m. on February 13th, 2025. This is a Zoom recording of Dr. Tarun Subrahmanian. The court reporter is Bonnie Smith. Will counsel please introduce himself and state any objection to the witness being sworn in remotely?
James Potts, no objection.
Spencer Bomar here for OrthoAtlanta and Dr. Lee, no objection.
Olivia Beckett here for Piedmont Orthopedics, no objection.
Jamie Michaud for Dr. Subrahmanian and no objection.
All right, Dr. Wood, raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Subrahmanian. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your full name, please.
Tarun Subrahmanian, Tarun Jayanth Subrahmanian.
Would you spell that, please?
Tarun.
Can you get the can you get the camera? I mean, looks like it's 15 feet away from you. Can you just zoom that in?
Let's see. I can't make any promises because it's one of those smart cameras that detects people. Let's see here. I wonder.
Do you want me to go off the record?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Thank you.
We're back on the record at 11:09.
Could you state and spell your full name, please?
Yes, Tarun Jayanth Subrahmanian, Tarun Jayant Subrahmanian.
In Wellstar?
Currently, yes.
Are you not still employed by Georgia Anesthesiologists, PC in Marietta, Georgia?
I am not.
When did you leave the employment of Georgia Anesthesiologists, PC in Marietta, Georgia?
In March 2023.
So in June 2022, you were employed at Georgia Anesthesiologists, PC in Marietta?
Yes.
And why did you leave Georgia Anesthesiologists, PC?
The major contract for our corporation was with the Wellstar Health System, and the contract expired, and the Wellstar Health System elected to employ us directly instead of contracting services with our private group. So I dissolved my partnership at that time.
All right. Have you ever been employed by Piedmont?
No.
Any Piedmont affiliate?
Not as an employee, no.
Are you credentialed at a hospital now?
Yes.
What hospital?
Wellstar Kennestone Hospital, Wellstar Paulding Hospital, and Wellstar Windy Hill Hospital.
All right. Credentialed anywhere else?
No.
Were you credentialed at those hospitals in June of 2022?
Yes.
Were you credentialed at any other hospitals in June 2022?
Wellstar Douglas Hospital.
Have you ever had your credentials curtailed in any way?
No.
Show you what's been marked as Exhibit 1 to your deposition. And what I'm going to do is share this in chat so that you can open it there on a screen where you are. I'm also going to open it on my screen. If at any time you can't see what I'm asking about, let me know, and we'll make it bigger, smaller, zero in on whatever you need to see. All right?
Okay.
Show you what's been marked as Exhibit 1 to your deposition, which is a file that we were provided. This is page 15. Does that appear to be your CV?
This is a resume, a one-page resume that I use instead of my general CV, which is a little, it's essentially the same.
All right. Does this accurately reflect your education, training, and experience?
My education, training, and experience, yes.
Right.
it does.
And this is, of course, before the Wellstar employment, right?
Correct. This likely was provided to Piedmont Orthopedics for my initial credentialing there.
All
At the
right.
time, it was OrthoAtlanta, not Piedmont Orthopedics.
All right. Have you authored any articles?
Not as a primary author, no.
What about at all?
I was part of a couple of research groups when I was in training and at one of my employed positions prior to starting residency.
All right. And do you remember the topics of either of those two papers?
Yeah, mostly they were health economics papers.
Yeah. Have you authored anything on cervical epidural steroid injections?
No,
Have you authored anything on epidural steroid injections?
no,
Have you authored anything on decerebrate posturing?
can you repeat that?
Sure, decerebrate posturing.
No,
Have you ever had a patient experience decerebrate posturing?
no,
Do you know what decerebrate posturing is?
I do.
What is it?
It's when the patient will abnormally flex and contract their extremities, which is disproportionate to whatever stimuli is being performed.
Have you ever performed a cervical epidural steroid injection?
I have not.
You understand that your deposition is public
Yes,
and this video could be seen in a public place like YouTube?
yeah, okay, I didn't know that, but okay.
Yeah. And that it stands for you outside this limited medical case. Were you aware of that?
Can you explain that again?
Sure. I mean, this is going to be available to your boards. You're board certified, right?
Correct?
You're board certified by who?
The American Board of Anesthesiology?
So your deposition will be available to the American Board of Anesthesiology. Were you aware of that?
No,
And you're boarded by the Georgia Medical Board, is that right?
that's correct.
It'll also be available to the Georgia Medical Board. Were you aware of that before today?
No,
You also aware that it will be available to colleagues you work with, other physicians, PAs, NPs, nurses?
was I aware of that? No.
Yes. You are aware now that your deposition is public, right?
Yes, I am now aware.
Have you reviewed any documents in preparation for your deposition?
No,
Have you had any conversations with anyone other than your lawyer?
no, just my attorney.
All right. Have you had any conversations with anyone regarding Arlena Addison?
No,
Do you have any recollection of Arlena Addison?
I do not.
Ever been a party to a lawsuit?
No,
Ever given a deposition before?
no,
Ever testified as an expert?
no,
Are you aware of any physician ever injecting drugs into a patient's cerebral spinal fluid?
aware as a possibility, or aware that I have been aware that it actually occurred?
Aware of it occurring.
I've not been aware of it occurring. Can I clarify that? Your question was whether or not I was aware that anyone had injected medications into cerebral spinal fluid? Is that the question?
Uh-huh.
So I'll change my answer. The answer is yes, if it was intentional. I mean, there are spinal procedures that are done where medication is injected intentionally into the cerebral spinal fluid.
Right. And that is a different procedure from a cervical spinal epidural steroid injection, right?
That's correct. That would be a
And there
difference.
are different precautions and standards of care in place when you do that, right?
When you do a cerebral, when
Yes.
you do a cervical spinal epidural injection? Yeah,
Yes.
sure. There are precautions you take.
Let me show you what's been previously marked as Exhibit 2 to your deposition. This is a portion of a medical record that we were provided regarding Arlena Addison. Have you ever seen this document before?
I have not.
Right. It reads here, recovery nursing notes. Can you see that?
Yes,
Documented by Miranda Dudley on June 9, 2022 at 2:19 in the afternoon. You see that?
I do see that.
Do you recall Miranda Dudley?
Yes, I know Miranda.
All right. Do you know her outside of work?
No, just from my time at OrthoAtlanta.
Have you ever known her to be untruthful?
No,
It reads here, patient to PACU 1034. At 1034, that's 1034 in the morning. Is that right?
yes, I assume so.
Noted to be tachypnic, tachycardic, rigid body, unable to FOC, which we believe is follow commands, incontinent bladder. NRB 100% applied, as well as continuous cardiac monitoring. You see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Dr. Lee at bedside, anesthesiologist, Dr. Sub at bedside to assess patient also. Do you have any recollection of that?
I don't have any recollection of this.
Okay. It reads here, I didn't see that you made any note in the record. Do you recall making any note?
No,
Okay. And is that something you would normally not do if you were at bedside to assess patient? Would you typically make a note in the patient's medical record?
if I actually assessed the patient, then I would have.
Okay. So since there's no note, does that mean you did not assess the patient?
I do not recall this situation, to be honest.
And I believe you testified earlier, you don't recall anyone exhibiting decerebrate posturing ever. Is that right?
That's correct.
If you had been there to assess the patient, what would be your custom and practice?
Outside of this, if I'd actually assess the patient, I would look at and see if their vital signs were stable, if there was airway compromise. But I would also be assessing a patient that I would have delivered anesthetic care to. I wouldn't really assess deeply a patient who I had no contact with prior.
And you would record that in the patient's medical record?
If I had been part of their anesthetic care, yes.
Well, you're familiar with a SOAP note,
Correct, yes, and
history and physical exam when you perform those, is that right?
are you asking me if I performed that?
No, I'm asking you whether you know, you of course know what that is, right?
Yes, I do know what that is.
And if you're assessing a patient one of the things you would do is take a history,
Correct.
perform a physical exam.
If time allowed for it, yes.
Well, and it also, you would assess the patient and you would come up with a plan of care for that patient. Is that right?
That would be correct.
And you would record all that in the patient's medical record.
Yes,
You agree that patients' medical records are important?
I agree.
They're medical legal documents.
Do I agree that they're medical legal documents? Yes,
Medico-legal, yes, it's a medical and a legal document, right?
correct.
And more importantly, it helps ensure the safety of your patient.
Yes,
And that's because it enables other healthcare providers to see what you've done when you were caring for that patient, right?
that would be correct.
Because you can't be with the same patient 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right?
That's correct.
And it would be the same for other healthcare providers that could see what you did when you were there. In other words, you could see what they did, they could see what you did, right?
Yes,
That's important for the continuity of care.
is that a question?
Yes.
Yes, it's important for the continuity of care.
And if you'd assess the patient, there would be a record like that in the patient's medical record.
If I had assessed the patient, then yes, there would be.
You agree that decerebrate posturing is a neurological response associated with severe brain dysfunction?
I agree it could be.
I'm sorry, you said you agree with that?
I agree that it could be.
Yes, ma'am. You agree that it typically indicates damage to the brainstem or upper brain regions?
Yeah, I agree with that.
You agree that it's a recognized sign of a life-threatening neurological event?
To that, I would defer to the neurological colleague. I mean, I would make that assessment.
You agree that complications from a cervical epidural can include serious neurological injuries?
I don't perform those procedures myself, so I couldn't say whether that was a complication or possibility of it.
Do you ever recall assisting a patient who suffered a complication as a result of a cervical epidural injection?
No, because I don't think I've ever provided anesthesia for a patient undergoing that specific type of procedure.
All right. You agree that decerebrate posturing can be one of the consequences when severe neurologic compromise occurs?
I suppose, yeah, it would be a consequence of that. Could be a consequence.
Decerebrate posturing is a sign or symptom of a serious neurological injury.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It requires immediate investigation.
Yes,
It requires healthcare providers, including physicians, to promptly recognize and address the patient's signs and symptoms.
yes,
And you agree that if you had a patient that was suffering from decerebrate posturing that needed emergency care, it would be below the standard of care to wait 10 to 13 minutes to call 911?
Check to form.
You may answer.
yeah, I disagree with that, that specific timeline. Hypothetically, that 10 or 13 minutes there could be a number of tasks performed by a team who's taking care of a patient, including resuscitative efforts, and preventing immediate harm.
So your testimony is if a patient suffers from decerebrate posturing in an outpatient surgical center, that it's all right to wait 10, 13 minutes, even longer, to reach out for emergency services for that patient.
Check the form, asked and answered.
You may answer.
I don't have an opinion on the timeline, specific timeline. I wouldn't want to commit to a specific timeline on how and when you should call EMS if you're currently taking care of a patient.
Well, when should you call EMS if you're currently taking a patient and your patient's exhibited decerebrate posturing for several minutes?
Say if your resuscitative efforts are not improving the patient's outcome, or if they have improved the patient's outcome and they're still critical, that's when you would call for emergency services.
You see, this is still Exhibit 2. This is Miranda Dudley's note, unable to get accurate pulse ox due to clenching of fist and rigidity.
I see that.
You ever had a patient that was so rigid that you could not get a pulse ox?
For various reasons, yes, it's possible.
My question was a little different though. Have you ever had a patient who was suffering from decerebrate posturing and her fists were clenched so tight that you could not get a pulse ox?
I don't really think I've had a patient with decerebrate posturing, but I've had patients who clench their fists, preventing a pulse ox reading.
Involuntarily or voluntarily?
It can be involuntary after a sedation. They may not be aware that they're clenching their fists, or it could be, the sensor itself is very sensitive to motion.
Mm-hmm. Well, you agree just clenching your fist is not the same as decerebrate posturing, right?
Yes.
Tempted to get EKG, unable due to artifact from shaking. You had patients that were shaking so bad that you couldn't get an EKG because of the artifact the shaking created.
That happens frequently.
Okay. Reads EMS called at 10:47. Patient still unable to follow commands at 10:47. This is about 15 minutes after the surgery. And your testimony is it's within the standard of care when you have a patient suffer from decerebrate posturing to wait 15 minutes or so to call EMS. Is that right?
I did not say it was acceptable to wait 15 minutes. I said that I did not have a comment on how long it was appropriate to wait depending on the clinical situation.
So you don't know whether it was acceptable or not acceptable. Is that right?
Correct. I didn't care for this patient, so I don't know how long it actually was. I'm going off of what you're telling me from this document.
Uh-huh. Since you didn't care for the patient, any idea why this note reads anesthesiologist, Dr. Sub, and that's, you go by Dr. Sub. That's
Occasionally, yes.
anesthesiologist, Dr. Sub at bedside to assess patient. Any idea why that was written there since you did not perform an assessment of the patient?
The only thing I can think of is that the spot where I would sit after dropping a patient who I did care for, give an anesthetic to, into the recovery area is immediately adjacent to the recovery area where the injection patients recover after their procedure. So I was probably within a few feet because that's where those recovery areas physically lie. And my responsibility would have been to another patient at that point.
You agree that being within a few feet of a patient is not the same as assessing that patient?
I agree.
Okay. And you agree that the standard of care requires when you do assess a patient that you've got to include your assessment in the patient's medical record?
I would agree with that.
Thank you, doctor. That's all I have. You be safe.
Thank you.
No questions for me, doctor. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you.
No questions for me.
Bye-bye.
No questions for me.
Okay, counsel, can I get transcript orders?
Yes, we'd like it.
E-Tran for me.
Adrian,
Nothing for me.
All right. We're going off the record at 11:35 a.m.